All right. Good morning. Welcome, beautiful warriors, to another awesome episode at Beautiful Warrior podcast. I am so excited. This morning, I actually have my good friend, my sister, and my mentor, photography mentor, Devvy. I am so excited to have you today, my friend. Thank you for being with me. Devvy has been in this season of my life of great blessing. The Lord totally knew what He was doing when He brought her into my life, and I've gained another sister to do life with. And so I am so honored to have you today. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us about the awesomeness that you're doing in your life and who you are.
Well, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me. My name is Devvy. For those of you who may not know me, I am just an everyday regular schmegular person. I don't want to give myself such a big intro. I'm a wedding and portrait photographer alongside my husband in the DMV, but we're just honored to capture people's legacy and their stories. So I'm honored to do that, and I'm going through the same challenges and struggles everyone else is. I'm just grateful and happy to be able to do what I love while overcoming whatever it is I need to overcome.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And Devi is a newlywed, which is really beautiful. I mean, at her wedding, I was like, it's really beautiful, but it's really awesome to see you and your husband and Holman. Shout outs to Holman for honoring the Lord. You guys are amazing people who love the Lord well and love His people well. So I'm really grateful for the both of you. This morning, actually, we're gonna talk about exactly that. I feel like you are somebody who is I would say I would describe you to be a go-getter, somebody who definitely works hard. I remember you even mentioned, some of those traits came from, I believe, one of your parents who taught you how to be a hard worker. And I can see that you're a young woman, obviously a young woman of Christ, and you are using your talents in different ways. And you're pretty talented. You're really good at what you do in different aspects of your life, not just photography, but other aspects of your life. I think you have such a unique gift to connect to people. And so today, we're going to talk about something that you and I spoke about, the blessing of being a young person and using the talents that the Lord has granted you to honor God and bless others. And again, I think, like I said, you've done that well. So can you share a bit about that? What does that mean to you? What is that to you?
Well, I think everyone's been given talent. I think everyone has been given something that they're able to share and communicate and express. I think that everyone has been gifted with something, and a lot of people may have a hard time finding out what that is, or have to go through or journey through different seasons of their lives to figure it out and really find that that they've wanted to do. For me, it was something where I understood. I'm not sure if I can. I can attribute everything to my parents, but when I say what exactly it is, I'm not sure where it was rooted from, but I understood from a very young age what I was good at, what I excelled in, and was able to use that in my advantage. And I think it takes, if you were raised with a specific environment, I think that also contributes to that. But if you see that you have something to give and to share with others, whether it be a specific talent or a gift or just anything that you have, it's understanding that you can use that to your advantage to excel and progress as a human being, but more importantly, to be able to honor the Lord with that and understand why you've been given that talent or been given such a a purpose, and be able to honor him with that glory, bring glory to him through that, and in as a result of that, be able to bless his people.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I would agree. I do believe in the same manner that, as you said, that everybody has a gift. Everybody was uniquely made. The word says that we were made in his image, and we know that the Lord is creative. So, and sometimes, that is a lie that we believe that we have nothing to give, or that we, don't have anything to provide to this world, or to bless people. But the truth is that we all do have something. So I really love that. Can you share what struggles and challenges has the Lord brought you specifically through, and what he has used as means to push you to where you are in life now?
Well, I brief bio. I was not born here. I was born in Mexico, que viva Mexico. I will never
Yeah.
I heard that once you become a citizen, you have to deny your origins. I'm like, once I do become a citizen, I'll say what I need to say, but
You're like,
Mexico
but
in
it's
my
in
blood till
you.
I die. But anyway,
Absolutely.
totally besides the point. I was brought here when I was 4, and we sort of grew up in the same way any other immigrant family would, and just I was very blessed to have parents who pushed me, excelled me to do well in school, to achieve everything I could, to the everyday, be the best you can be, ponte las pilas,
Yeah.
there's a thing about Latino family where you have the extra motivation to go further, because there are a second layer of generations that are counting on you, that have worked so hard to put you in the position and
Yeah,
give you the
absolutely.
platform that you have. So there's something about that, and I just worked really hard within everything I could, my whole entire life, and then graduated and found out that I didn't have papers, and I did not have the same opportunities. I mean, I knew I didn't have papers. I just didn't understand the the consequences of that. I didn't understand
Yeah.
what would come in addition to having just immigrated into a country that hasn't set any type of immigration reform to
Right.
where we can have those type of benefits. So there were
Yeah.
some extenuating circumstances in which I kind of graduated. I had this huge dream where I would just go to college, and they feed you these things, and you have them ingrained into your brain, and then you just think that everything is going to go well. And I got a really good slap in the face when I found out that there were no funds, first of all, for me to
Yeah.
go to college. And so I had worked so hard to do all these amazing things and use my talents, and be able to share that with the world, working so hard just to find out that there were no funds to do that. And not only that, because I was an immigrant in this country, there were so many limitations and restrictions that were placed in front of me, to where I could not excel in the way that any other person born here could. So everything that I've had to basically become up until this point, for the glory of God, is because I've had to basically build it from the ground up. I never had anything handed to me, and I know that sounds so cliche, everyone says that, but it really makes a difference when you have to excel and be able to have so many talents and not be given the opportunity because you are not from this country. And sorry to make it sound so depressing, but it
Nope,
was
that's
what
the
it
truth.
was, right? So
Right.
I had to figure out
Yeah.
where and how, and I was so mad at God, and mad at my parents. I was mad at everybody and everything. Nobody could tell me nothing. I was just mad because I had worked so hard. I had done everything right. according to our societal standards, and just to find out that I felt robbed to be
Mm.
just not be given any opportunities to excel. I felt
Yeah.
robbed. So everything after that, I've had to kind of cling on to my own strength is what I had in that moment, because I wasn't clinging on to the Lord. I wasn't clinging on to the Holy Spirit, and I had very little like good relationship with my parents in that sense. So there wasn't a lot I was clinging on. So I was literally fighting with my own strength
Mm.
and trying to like excel, and in a world that would not allow me to. And it was very hard,
Yeah.
because once you release that hope in the Lord, and once you
Mm.
release um, the grace that God allows and provides, even
Mm.
through circumstances,
Right.
and that's what I've learned. Um, when you release and let go of that and just try to make it on your own,
Mm.
life gets like ridiculously and unnecessarily harder.
Absolutely.
So I feel like the Lord allowed that.
Mm.
Eventually my relationship with my parents did get better, and my relationship with the
Mm.
Lord got so much better. But in that season, I was mad at everything. I was mad at the Lord. I was mad at my parents. I was mad at the
Mm.
government. I was mad at the school system. I was mad at myself for working so hard for something that wasn't even going to be given to me anyway.
Yeah.
So there's so much I was mad at. But once I got over it, I realized that the Lord allowed that to happen,
Mm.
because had I gotten everything handed to me, or gotten everything that I wanted in my
Mm.
head that seemed so perfect at the time, I wouldn't have been able to develop these skills that I have now to be
Mm.
able to build a business from the ground up,
Mhm.
or be able to pay for my college education, on my own, with the help of obviously the opportunities that the Lord has
Mm.
provided. But and I say that so like respectfully, because I don't want it to make it sound, and I would hate for this to come off as I did this by myself. I by no means
Right.
I obviously it was the strength and the glory of God that has held me and my family through this. But
Yeah,
being able
absolutely.
to understand that you don't have the same opportunities that everyone else does, you kind of have to take it upon yourself to kind of figure out and really rely on the Lord's guidance to
Mm.
pull you through such annoying, to say the least, such annoying circumstances, and be able to conquer and overcome and be successful. I think that's
Absolutely.
the biggest blessing.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. And actually, you and I, in that way, we do relate. I mean, I told you I was DACA as well. And so I can relate even to the feelings that I remember that you're saying, when coming out of high school and thinking, oh, great, like here we go. And then you realize, oh, wait a minute. Wow, okay, no financial aid. I can't do this, I can't do that. And then yeah, like you just realize, man, like what is life going to be in a country where a degree and certain things just mean a lot. But in the same manner as you, like it's beautiful because I can also identify how what literally what you just said, the Lord is sovereign over all things, and he knows exactly
Yeah.
what he gives and what you can handle, and what that process is going to do for you, right? First and foremost, for your relationship with him, and then your relationship and restoration of with others, but also just in general to bring him glory. So I think that's amazing that you were able to identify, his grace. But obviously, yes, we're human beings. Yes, we're gonna be angry. Yes, it's gonna be
Yeah.
moments of like, why is this happening to me? I mean, why me? Why not them? And so a lot of that happens. But it's just beautiful to see that once there's clarity in our lives and the Lord kind of comes through and says, hey, like, I've got you. Your process may not look like that person's, but your process is unique and it's beautiful. And it brings me honor and glory. So,
Yeah.
especially, specifically, and uniquely when you are clinging on Him. So, which is exactly what you've done. And literally, like you said, you've built. God has allowed you to build and place
Yeah.
you right where you're at. And I would say you're extremely blessed. It's just really beautiful to see. How your limitations were not your holdbacks forever, right? Like it was limitations,
Yeah.
temporary limitations, but you've been able to pull through. So, in that sense, I would like to ask, like, would you do anything differently? And if not, why not?
I always like, I've had this question being asked to me before, and I always think about like, if I would have done something differently, what would I have done? And probably not complain. And I mean, I complained so much to the degree where it made me feel so bitter on the inside, because you think you do everything right, and you still like, things still don't get your way, and it's almost like you should be grateful that you've come this far, but at the same time you feel like you deserve more to what you have put the effort in. And in that sense, knowing that I am so stubborn, I probably wouldn't have done anything differently. I probably would have just, and people say like, if I was Eve, I wouldn't have eat the apple, right?
Right.
And I'm like, okay, but would you have not, you're like, would you really? And I think about that, and it's like, we're all just flawed human beings.
Absolutely.
And regardless of what if, and we could stick on the hypotheticals all day long and see what if I would have done that, or what, but truth of the matter is I probably wouldn't have done anything differently. I probably would have just been as stubborn as it was, and the Lord allows that because he understands our shortcomings, and he uses that to build character. He probably knew I needed that character. He probably knew I needed that personal development. So no, I don't. I wish I could sound holy and say that I wouldn't have complained more, or I wouldn't have, but I probably would have done everything the same exact way, knowing who I am and my shortcomings and everything that comes with it. But if I would have known then what I know now, and still have to go through those circumstances, I would have just clinged on to hope a little bit more. I would have been able to understand. And during that time, I will say that even though I had a bad relationship with everybody and their mama, I was just like, you couldn't tell me nothing. The only thing that sustained me was being able to worship, and I'm a worship leader at my church, and I was able to hold on to that, and be able to kind of, I guess that's what got me through it. I would say, because I didn't even. One would say that you have to have a relationship with the Lord to be in church and sing a song, but that's not the case. You can sing all day long and not have a relationship with the Lord. But what brought me through was having that platform and that space of having let go of everything else but worship, and being able to enter into that space where the Lord was and welcomed me into, and understanding that was the only communion I had with the Lord, but it was enough. The Lord said that is enough to bring you through to the other side, to conquer. And I think that's so powerful, because had I not had worship in that moment, then I don't know who or where I would be, or if I wasn't given the space to be able to worship and be able to have that space. Because and when I say that, I mean, like, I was not doing these things at home. So the only moment where I could worship, or where I even dared to enter into a space of communion, of intimacy with the Father, was at church when I was leading worship. I know, it all sounds so bad. Like, I feel so bad for my pastor, like, letting me lead worship in such a tumultuous space of my life where I wasn't even, fully in communion with the Lord. But it was the only thing where it was kind of like my oxygen in that moment, where everything around me was dead. And the irony of having to lead people into worship when you are spiritually dead inside, but it was my oxygen to be able to overcome and be able to come to the other side, because I wasn't praying, I wasn't reading my Bible, I was just mad at everything. So the only thing that kept me spiritually alive, in the sense of it being my oxygen, keeping me thinking, I'm a big Grey's Anatomy fan, so I'm out here thinking I'm out here with the and I'm just so the only thing keeping me together in that season of my life was worship, and being able and being allowed to enter into a space of communion with the Father.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful, my friends. And it's interesting too because I do believe worship is a powerful thing. I
Yeah.
mean, being in the presence of the Lord, sometimes not even saying a thing, just literally being there.
Yeah.
It's life changing, it's amazing, it's empowering, and a lot of healing happens in that space. And I would say in the same manner, I mean, there's been moments of my life, dark moments of my life, where I feel like the only thing I had or could do was constantly just come to the Father. Maybe I didn't know what to say or whatever, but I just knew that in those moments where I was either listening to a worship song or I was singing a worship song, and I knew in my heart I meant exactly what. Because one thing is to sing a song and just, okay, done, boom, I did it.
Yeah.
But another thing is to actually worship. And I believe that is what you were literally saying you would do. I mean, in that moment, you would connect and you would search out the Lord. And in that sense, you would receive exactly what
Yeah.
oxygen, as you're saying. I mean, because the Lord, something amazing too that recently our pastor said, and it's like what we're breathing, is not oxygen, is not actual air, is grace. Like in that
Yeah.
moment, you were receiving grace. Grace was being extended to you.
Yeah.
The fact that we are living and breathing is grace. I mean, we know the Lord is again sovereign over all things, and He knows and has the ability to do many different things, right, in our
Yeah.
lives. So the fact that in that moment, that's the space you were in, and that God would
Yeah.
pull you through and even remind you of your identity and that you were loved and that there is hope, in
Yeah.
that moment, even if you were not doing anything else, as you said, but
Yeah.
in that space, you decided to allow your heart to go there with God, and that is exactly what provided healing and restoration
Yeah.
for you. That's amazing. It's really beautiful. And the Lord, again, he's creative, he's beautiful and very loving, and he can use many different things, to bring us closer to him. Sometimes for me it was journaling, right? Like sometimes maybe I didn't know what to say or what to pray, but I
Mm.
could journal and then I would feel his grace extended. So
Yeah.
I think that's amazing. And I also love that you're authentic, because one thing is to be here and that you're honest, because one thing is to be here and present or even say, oh yeah, everything's been beautiful, it's
Yeah.
rainbows and flowers, but the
No,
truth
I'm
of
a
the
hot
matter
one.
is
Yeah.
that life is not like that. We would all be lying if we said that, right? And
Yeah.
even because especially as we know, I mean, you're a photographer and you know that in this day and age, like all of us, some on some level put up, especially in media, we put up, like, in a
Yeah.
sense, perfection a lot of times, right? But the truth of it is that perfection is not real in any of
Yeah.
our lives, right? So I think it's amazing that I think in every aspect of your life you do portray authenticity. So I love that, and so we thank you for being honest and raw, because I know somebody that is listening can connect and say, hey, that's me, like I've been there. I'm currently in a dark place in my life where I'm not reading or I'm not seeking the Lord, and it's a
Yeah.
challenge and it's really hard. But you also, in the back of your head and in your heart, you need the Lord, because clearly you were still showing up to worship, right? And you were still trying to have that moment with God, because you knew your need. Perhaps you were not doing other things, but you still recognized the need. And so I pray, and I know this will encourage somebody that perhaps feels like they're in that place. So thank you for sharing that. And in that sense, like if there's anybody that is listening, whether it's a young person, older person, whoever it is, right, that is currently struggling, to share their talents, to honor God, to bless the Lord, and bless others. What is the thought you would like to leave them? Or perhaps somebody who simply is in this space where they feel like life, as you said, is a struggle and they're struggling, and they have on some level turned away from the Lord, or they have turned on some level, but then their hearts are still invested in, I still recognize need. What is a piece of advice or encouragement you would like to leave with them?
Well, I think you could go to so many seminars and so many conferences to teach you to be successful and how to administer your talents and stuff. And I think all of that is great, but I think that what you said originally, you have to be real and you have to be raw and honest with yourself and really realize and I think that's what helped me come through. I never for a moment pretended that everything was okay. I was in this very angry state, but I
Right.
never pretended that, like, people knew something was wrong with me. My parents knew. I mean, I was very vocal about it, and
Yeah.
um, it was being so real and honest with myself and transparent with others that allowed God to bless me and overcome that, because that something so dark and such like the bottom of what seemed to be something so horrible,
Mm.
God used it as a launching pad to bring me through that. And
Yeah.
a pastor said one time, like, God is not going to bless the person you're pretending to be. So, in
Mm.
order to be successful, in order to use and administer the talents and bring
Yeah.
glory and be able to do all these amazing things, you have to be real and raw and honest with yourself and who you are. If you lack discipline, be honest in that. And if you lack perseverance, be honest in that. And if you have zero communication with the Lord, be honest in that. I once asked one of my girls, I said, she was asking advice on whether she should be with this
Mm.
dude. And I said, does he love the Lord? And she kind of told me,
Mm.
he goes to church here and there. And I said, that's not what I asked you. I asked you,
Mm.
does he love the Lord? And it's a
That's
big
good.
deal because you can do all these things, walk the
Mm.
comfortable Christian life, but
Right.
you that doesn't mean you love the Lord. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
once you're open and honest
Absolutely.
about that and realize your shortcomings as a person, you'll be able to come
Mm.
prepared you to be, and really dive into that personal development of who he's called you to be and your identity and
Right.
who he has designed you to be. But if you're not real and honest and open with yourself and have
Mm.
accountability with others, I think that's important. My parents had a really good
Yeah.
system of making sure I was accounted for, even if it wasn't for them. I think they kind of sneaked around and told people to kind of check up on me, and I've had accountability and be able to come through in my life because of that. So accountability
Mm.
is important, but I think transparency is one of the biggest things, and being transparent with the Lord, even if everything in your life just is
Mm-hmm.
the opposite of what He expects from you. I think He appreciates a clean and
Right.
open, transparent heart, because He can work with that.
Mm.
Um, when
Absolutely.
you're pretending to be something
Mm-hmm.
that you're not, or when you pretend to be okay, I never pretended I was okay. I always acknowledged I was a hot mess. So the moment you start pretending that you're something that you're not, it's going to be really hard for the Lord to work with your heart, because He desires to mold you and craft you. But if you're not even giving
Right.
Him the chance to break you as a potter does, if you don't
Mm.
even allow Him to mold, there's nothing He can mold from something that is not allowed to be touched. So you have to be open and have a
Mm.
transparent heart.
That's
And
good.
um, and I just encourage everyone to seek that, to seek honesty, to
Mm.
seek transparency, and that's what's going to build character, and that's what's going to be able to have um, a little bit of an easier communication and development with the Lord. You'll be able to see Him work through you if you would just release control, which is what I did. I released
Yeah.
control of everything that I was angry at, and I released control of everything that I thought I could do on my own, and I went ahead and let the Lord do what He needed to do.
Mm.
And when you release that control is when you can really start seeing restoration, and when you can
Absolutely.
really start being successful. And if I had to
Mm.
give anyone the key to success, is being able to be honest and transparent with yourself, with others, and with the Lord, so that He can work through you. And in
Mm.
turn, once He is able to have your heart and just grip it, when He's able to grip your
Mm.
heart and not let go of it, and not without you having to slide away or
Mm.
stray away from it, then the Lord can work on you. And then that's when you'll start seeing actual progress and actual change,
Mm.
and be able to bring Him glory through that, and be able to bless others as a result.
Amen. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Debbie. That's really awesome and it's beautiful. And like I said at the beginning, I think it's even beautiful to see that you've gone through these processes, that you've allowed the Lord to mold, your life, and obviously now to all of us, whoever knows you. I mean, there's others that know you even more intimately than I would, but even the bits of your life that I've been able to see, it's just beautiful because it shines a lot of the Lord's grace. Both you and Holman, as I said, are blessed, and even to see the season of your life is extremely exciting. And so I could only say that I would say that everything you're saying is literally is a product of everything you're literally encouraging others to do. You've done just that, and the Lord has definitely blessed you, and in return now you're bringing him glory, and even blessing others. Like, I am one of those people that has been highly blessed by you. So I am super excited for whatever the Lord's gonna do in your life, coming up, and for somebody to listen to this and be encouraged, by that, and know that, hey, like, as you said, God puts you through processes to mold your character, to build character, so that the blessings that are forthcoming, that you are able to handle it and better steward those blessings, because you're in a much better place, in your relationship with him first and foremost, so that then you don't idolize whatever's in your life at the moment, but also so that you're a blessing to the people around you. So thank you so much for that. I have enjoyed having you. It's always so much fun to connect to you. We laugh a lot. You're super funny and really fun. So thank you, my friend. I bless you again. And we look forward to perhaps having you in the future, and all the amazing things that you are going to be doing in your life, your business, and everything else. So thank you. Love you. All right, beautiful warriors. Thank you so much for being with us today. We look forward to next episode. Have a great day.